Oh, not on the level that I got to meet him and hang out with him. And so David is from Nebraska. He said God's country. He has 4 children. His wife is extremely supportive. She is the leader of the home, the heart of the home for his family. And just watching like David, obviously, guys, he has one of the biggest teams with family heritage, but his heart, I think, is what really just made me absolutely kind of like just fall in love with this guy. So he can beatbox to anything, right? You would not know that, but I mean, he can beatbox our sales talk. We had a jam session on the bus. He is very bilingual. So I remember when we were finishing dinner, he just started, just drummed up a conversation with the servers, and they just loved him, and just, just his overall spirit. He got me because he was like, "Hey, let me see your phone," and you know. He's like, I can't get into this stupid thing. And little did I know, he was in my phone already taking a selfie of himself, posting it on my Facebook. He's like, I'm learning so much from this leader this week, but just an absolute heart of gold. I love him. I do. He is a ball of energy. But he runs a very successful business, but he pours into his people. So, Chessmore, I don't want to take any more time. I want you to just kind of, I told him, I said, you talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, because, guys, whatever he's going to talk to us about, we need to be listening to and taking in. So, I'm going to turn it over to you, dear.
I'm super excited. So before I jump into my part today, it's kind of what I really love. The one thing I do want to get across before I dive into this part is the one thing. If there's one thing that I could really let everyone understand about this business is the most forgiving business I've ever been part of. Right. So I still remember my first incentive, and I think Kyle actually came in after I did, but I still remember my first incentive watching all the, Kyle and Sean and all these people walking around, and they're just, breaking records as agents and doing all these phenomenal things, and just thinking like, man, dude, like it'd be so cool to be these guys, like these guys, like the popular kids on the block, right? And I think what I love about this business is, and then I saw Dylan Buck, Amber Winfrey, Aaron Soap, all these people start coming in years after I did, and hitting market director, hitting regional director. And, I was, not taking this opportunity serious. And, again, I'd been burnt out from selling. I mean, I've been selling since I was 19. And so it was pretty cool to make, 10K every month, on a train more, and then not, not have to do anything in 3 weeks. I'm not gonna lie. But then I really realized seeing, individuals like Kyle and Dylan, and just the impact they had on people's lives through our products, but through this opportunity, right? I decided to buy in. This is almost 4 years ago. I still remember. I remember the previous year, I think we had in total sales. I think I had 1 or 2 people on my team. We'd written maybe 300,000, right? Going into, I can't remember the year. I think it's 2001. I'm bad with years, but anyways, I remember going to that year, and went from in January from one agent, Matt Udek, on my team, to being a sales professional, to literally regional director in 6 months, doing 2.5 million that next year, and then doubling the sales every single year, or our team sales every single year. So I just want to share that because this business is very forgiving. Who cares where you're at? Like, it's just about having fun. So I want to dive in this part. I like participation. So sometimes I screw up with this little camera stuff. So if my camera cuts out or you don't see me, I apologize. But I'm going to share my boy Tony Robbins. Love this guy. I saw this YouTube clip, I think, in January, and I just fell in love with it. I think anyone that's really good at any part of their business or life is really honed into these things. And so let me know if you can see my screen. You see it?
Yes, sir.
I want to show you a nice.
All right.
way to get out of the stuck mode. And if you're not feeling stuck, but you just want to perform at a higher level, the reason we get stuck was we're only using one part of us. We all have multiple personalities. Have you considered at least 4 archetypes that we could use within you? And I'm going to make this quite practical. So let me give you an example. 4 years ago, I got a phone call from Conor McGregor's team. A year and a half or 2 years before, lost from this man named Khabib, if you know the UFC, but they had really bad blood. It wasn't just getting beat. They said things to each other. They attacked each other's families and personally. And they're both very intense men. He lost to this guy, and he was living on anger. Before, considered Mystic Mac, he could like read people's punches before they happen. And so he said, look, Conor's working his tail off. He's really committed to getting better, but we really want to tune up the psychological part to make it as strong as possible. And he believes in your work, so would you come work with him? So I did. I don't share everything I do with someone, but I can share this because it's general. One of the things I did was I saw that he was only using part of himself because he was so angry. So I explained to him there are 4 archetypes, 4 ways of parts of yourself that
This is Pod 5, the first fully immersive sleep system. Intelligent,
Get you good
to
sleep.
tap into. First part of you is called the warrior. Think of the warrior as the part of you that will not be stopped, that'll push through any limitation, a part of you that it doesn't matter how afraid you are, there's no courage if you're not scared. Courage is you're afraid, but you do it anyway. It's like if you're really scared, courage is it's a muscle. You learn to push yourself through it. Well, the warrior will push themselves. They'll find their courage. They'll push through. Even if they're afraid, they'll do it anyway. He's going to fight this guy named Cowboy who had all kinds of records. I said, if you go in there, this warrior in you is going to be a part of winning. I want you to discover where this warrior is. I mean, we're going to do some weird stuff. Think about if this unstoppable part is in you, where does it live in your body? And I said, I don't want you to think intellectually. I just want you to touch the part of your body where it is. And he touched right up in here, the top, right? This clavicle area. He goes right here. I know this sounds weird, but I want you to make the sound of the warrior. And he made this lousy little sound. I said, no, I mean fully embodied. And then he made this roar sound that shook the building. I said, that's it. Make the sound again, or made the roar sound. He's touching it. He's focusing on it. He's making this sound. I said, what color is the warrior? And for him, it was green, right? So, and what's the sound of the warrior? Make the sound. What's the warrior say? So we're going to do this, but I got him to activate it. It's not like I have a warrior over there. I'm intellectually thinking there's some part of myself that can figure this out. No, it's embodying that part of yourself. And then once he's in that state, several times touching that part of his body, focusing on another color, making the sound of the warrior, then I said to him, I want you from this warrior state to finish this sentence. The warrior says, Connor, so in my case it'd be the warrior says, Tony, all you need to focus on. I want the warrior's response. So I got him again in state, cranked the energy, making the sound, everything else. We did the warrior.
All right, so we're going to take a pause. So in our business, what do you believe is that warrior state? Well, all adults, just unmute and make sure you mute yourself again. What is that warrior state that he's talking about when it comes to going out, protecting families, being in the field?
That drive.
Okay. What do you mean by drive?
The drive to keep going to whatever your reason is to keep coming out.
What else?
Mine's my heart. Rah!
Your heart, yeah. So I always tell
belief barriers as well. It's kind of just like consciously breaking away.
More, what do you mean? Like, what are some belief barriers that people have?
It can be long lasting from childhood. It can be things that they've been told or thought of themselves, things that they've experienced in the past that maybe they couldn't do before, but they could do now. You just kind of get this mentality about yourself that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not capable enough, you're not one of the cool kids, the popular kids, like you kind of said earlier. And when you kind of break through all of that and consciously every day break through those belief barriers, you surprise yourself.
Yeah, I think courage, we talk about courage, right? Courage is not, I think people think courage is the absence of fear. No, it's doing it even when you are fearful. And so some things that I wrote down, right, is, the warriors it's pretty simple, right? Like it's fearless. It talks, we have this all the time. It talks to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Bring it, right? We have that phrase all the time. The warrior is someone that just no matter what, you're just on fire, right? You've had those days, right, where you're walking in, you're fearless. You can talk to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're pulling over cops, you're pulling over farmers. Like, you are unstoppable. You're fearless. Like, objections don't matter, right? You're just moving to the next business on the left. You don't care who it is. You're not skipping businesses. Doesn't matter if it's a lawyer's or a doctor's office or a county or a trucking company. Like, you are going to the next business. You're fearless. You walk in, you're not talking to the receptionist. You're going back to the business owner where you're supposed to. You're sitting down. This fearless, courageous individual, right? You're buying atmosphere. You're doing double buying atmosphere. Like, I'm getting I'm getting a yes or no today. I've got too many families to catch up with. If you're maybe in between, I'm gonna throw in the cat in the no category because I have so many families to help, right? So you're just ripping and roaring, right? The warrior mentality is that the grind, right? You're putting in 8, 9, 10, 11-hour days. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, you just got that heart of the warrior, right? So you're really just in the zone, right? Nothing can stop you. So you'll have those. We've all had those moments, right? Doesn't matter if there's a gatekeeper. Doesn't matter if people said no after no after no. Like, you're just got that, and that warrior mentality. I'm going to set up enrollments. I'm going to protect families. Like, it's just this mentality that nothing can stop you. And we see it a lot, right? We get this courageous, and and I think a lot of us do it a lot, right? We're just like pound the pavement, just like, and you can have that warrior mentality, but there's those other threes that you need to really embody everything. So we're gonna keep going here.
There's another part of you called the magician. The magician is the part of you. The warrior will fight through, push through, won't give up. It has this drive, this energy, this strength. It's scared to still make it happen. Has a totally different approach. The magician is like magic. It's like the magician knows it all can change in a second. It's all perception. You change what you focus on, you change instantly what you feel and what you experience. How many of you have ever been at a funeral and it's really depressing and sad, people are in tears, and then someone shares a story, a funny story about the deceased, and you go from crying to laughing in 2 seconds. And all that's changed is you changed your focus. So the magician knows that they find the easy, simple way. And I said, you used to be known as Mystic Matt, because he was known for almost like being able to see what punch someone's going to throw before they even started to move. That's how magical he was. That's why he became such a champion in multiple weight classes. And I said, let's have you find that part of you. And so he found where that part of him was, and he touched his face like this. And then he started to grin from ear to ear, and he started smiling like that. So now he's in a different state. He's focusing on it. He's got the color of the magician, the sound of the magician. And then I had him keep saying things, and he got a whole different set of distinctions that calmed him down. I said, you've been overusing your warrior because you're so angry, and your magician's been on the sidelines not participating in your fights. His eyes got really big like this, and he goes, you're so right. It's so different when I'm there. I need the warrior, but I need the magician too. We get stuck when we only use one part of our...
Oh, gotta love those advertisements. All right, so we're gonna talk about
Backbone was original
self.
We're gonna talk about the magician. All right, so what is the magician in this business?
I think it's controlling the conversation. I mean, even though we want them to tell their story and share their stories, it's your direction, the way you direct their conversation.
Yes, right. A magician or someone that's really good at protecting, helping families, they control the conversation, right? What else?
I think part of it is heading off those objections before they occur, asking your critical questions, getting in there, knowing what's coming and beating it before it comes out.
Yes. What else? One more.
I would say changing their direction from the cost to the benefits.
Yes, right. And again, what I wrote down, my notes, it kind of ties everything, right? So the magician is someone who just understands the sales conversation, right? Someone who's got the claims down, right? Someone that can literally shift from a business owner to a young person to, it doesn't matter. Like, they're just anything and everything coming at them. And you new folks have seen this. You're just like, oh my gosh, how they do that, right? Like, it's just this, you're just so smooth. It's someone who really understands how to use names, right? How to create a buying atmosphere that really helps them understand that you're there to help them and really take them off that hook, right? They know how to connect with business owners and really tell the claims and stories in a way that really connects. right? They know how to, a magician knows how to really listen well and use what they say to connect them with the community, to connect them with the product, to connect them with that story, right? Hey, you know, a magician is someone that they catch the little details when, you know, you're saying, hey, do you have you know, the indirect cost page, and I have nothing to do with that. That's your health insurance. You get that through your employer. And they're saying, yeah, actually my spouse, she works at the hair salon down at Chelsea's. Hey, I just helped a gal at the hair salon. Hey, does she know? It's the magician just connecting all those dots, right? They got one-liners on point, right? They know when to do soft sells. They know when to press and how to really flow with the conversation. They understand objections. Objections are no deal. They've got claims and stories for all the objections, right? They know exactly what claim to use, when to use it, right? And how to relate, you know, using business card holders and stories, right? And so magician, they're just really smooth with objections. Like they're just someone that can really connect with those. And so you see this a lot. I always tell people, you know, when you've got this sales conversation, I tell my leaders this all the time. When you're training agents and they're going out and protecting one family a day or two families a day or one other day, a lot of times leaders will want to train them like these one-liners, or hey, here's how you know, it's simple. Like if you've got the sales conversation, the next best thing you can do is start become a storyteller. Dude, I tell people the best sales book is the Bible, right? Christ sold the gospel, right? And Christ taught by parables and stories. It's how he connected with people. Like what we are doing, we are literally doing God's work here. And so understand that the way you can become a magician is sharing stories, relating to them. So if you're protecting 1 to 2 family, you want to protect more, focus on claims. Top producers, they have claim after claim after claim, local claim. They've got cancer stories, business owners, and stories. Being able to connect and listen to them through stories that are going to relate to them. Okay.
Third part is the lover. That's the third archetype. The lover, we all know what the lover is. The lover is the part of you that loves life, loves work, loves people, loves everything. It's that joy, it's that flow. It's a completely different state than the warrior and the magician. And so he touched his heart, and he started breathing in his heart, and then he made the sound of the lover, which was a sweet little sound that you would never expect coming out of Conor McGregor. Okay, now that we did it multiple times, he was really in state, and then I had him just out loud say, the lover says, all you need to remember, all you need to focus on, all you need to do is. He realized that the lover he used to love fighting, he used to love being with his team, he used to love training, but he'd gotten so angry, the lover was put aside, the magician was put aside, and the warrior was worn out. If you've been through a lot of tough relationships that haven't worked out, you might feel your lover's worn out. We need to bring maybe your magician and your warrior back to get you back in the game. So
all right, so lover, what would that be in this business?
The passionate side of you when you're relating.
Yes.
Your why.
Yes. Go more in depth at it. How's that on the lover side?
It's someone who actually takes care of their client, not just smooth talks them to get a sale. Actually, they reservice, they follow up, they send thank you cards, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you care about the individual in front of you, right? Like you genuinely want to help that individual, right? The lover is the part of you that just loves life, right? Like you go in a new area, and you know, you're just like, I love it doesn't matter if it's raining. I love storms. I love the wet. Like you just love life. Like, you know, I always tell people, you love the product, you love the opportunity, you just love where you're at in life, right? You love the people in front of you. You have a genuine passion to, you know, to really help that individual, what's going to be best for them, right? You're bought in, right? Like people say, you're drinking the Kool-Aid, right? The lover is someone who just loves what they do and is really just selfless, right? You've got a passion for service, and those are individuals that you're just walking in and you're just, again, it's these points, different days, different ones will be firing all cylinders, right? You'll be walking in and you'll be noticing like, you know, oh man, I love those earrings. I love that hair. I love you. Like you're just serving others through your words and through your actions. And you're just beaming with love and caring for others. And so that the lover, right, to really love and care about what you do, right? Because again, think about it. You've had days where you love where you're at, and you've had days where you hated where you're at, and you're just like hitting the pavement. You got that warrior, but you don't love what you're doing, right? So you're just like, you talk to anybody, anywhere, and you're just like, I hate my life. What am I doing? This is the worst decision I ever made, right? That's where you need to take a second back and say, okay, I need to kick in. I need to meditate and understand why I'm here and understand the purpose and pull out some claims and really go like back to your why, like, why am I here? Right? All right.
And the last one is the sovereign, the king or the queen, the sovereign. And I said, this is the part of you that is wiser than your years. This is the part of you that maybe is connected to God or the universe, that has fought the wars and knows that even if you lose the battle, you can still win the war. This is the wise part that has history. A great king, a great queen. Now, you don't become a great king or queen by claiming you're a queen or king, by the way. I'm such a queen, I'm such a king. People do that on social media all the time. The way you become a king is you become a servant. Hero is the word most of us know. To be a hero, its Latin root is servo, which means servant. When you serve the most people, that's when you get to be the hero. But you got to be the servant, right? The sovereign is the servant to all that you've ever experienced. It is incredibly wise. It's not fearful. Sovereign has vision beyond this moment. Even if the moment looks horrible, the sovereign knows we're going to get through it. So I got him to find a sovereign. I got him to make the sounds.
Okay, sovereign. Let's see. What do we know for sovereign for our business?
I think the people that's just really, we've seen the highs and the lows, and we can really help motivate and pull people through it. We know that like those lows are never going to be as low as they seem, and those highs never need to be as high as they seem. That's what comes to my mind.
Definitely.
I think it's also just getting back to your why again, like the deep rooted reason why you're here, to get you through like the valleys of this job when it is horrible or low, seeing the other side of it, of why you're here.
Yeah, and I think it's also drawing from your experiences. It's you've been there, you've experienced this situation, so you're able to deal with that, and you're able to learn and have that global mindset of looking at the whole picture.
Yeah, so if you look at kings or heroes or phenomenal people, and I'll share my experience. Kyle Schneider too. I know he's done this because Justin's told me, like, Justin and Kyle Schneider is a copy paste what Justin did. He literally was taking calls and listening to things. And so there's two ways you can, become a hero or sovereign. You can either try to do it on your own, learn from your own mistakes, or learn from the mistakes of others and implement them, right? And so, I always tell people, I see this happen on train moors or to a lot of agents that, we've all been there, and is that if you protect someone on Monday and Tuesday, like, they have a great week. I have agents like this that if they protect a family Monday and Tuesday, they're going to have a week. If they don't protect someone Monday and Tuesday, they never have a good week, right? And so it's understanding that, as a sovereign here, you understand it could, because of your past experience, because of the stories and everything, that it takes all week to have a great week. You kind of understand how to really set that tone and go out and just serve and love people and know that everything else is going to take care of itself, right? If you do your dad level best and just let God do the rest, that's really that focus of, I know that I'm going to lead from the front. I know that if I do the job exactly how I was told to, everything's going to happen for a reason. And again, I love that these are going back to your why. Like, why are you here? Like, why did you make that choice to say yes and step into this role, right? All right, let's keep going.
The color of sovereign, and then what sovereign says. Connor, all you need to focus on. You remember, all you need to do. So he got all of this coaching, and this coaching was coming from within him. And now all these parts are awake and alive. I had him go to bed that night with some instructions, and I came back the next day for the fight. And right before the fight, I went backstage with him for just 10 minutes, and all we did was reactivate all 4 of these parts. And if you saw the fight, it's a very famous fight against Cowboy, a really good competitor. And in the first few seconds, Cowboy makes a move, and it looks like he's going to take Connor down in the first 20 seconds. It really looked good. And all of a sudden, Connor, the magician in him, popped in, is what he explained to me afterwards. And in a millisecond, his brain anticipated what was going to happen, and he found a way to push through and use a headbutt and hit him, and then a punch, another punch. The whole fight was done in less than 60 seconds. But what I was most proud of in Connor, he didn't sit there and just suck up the victory. He went over immediately, picked Cowboy up, and he hugged the guy. And he goes, man, you got records I don't even have. And then Cowboy, his mom died years ago, so he had a grandma, and she was there. And Connor went up and hugged the grandma and said how much he respected it. I just thought it was such a beautiful moment. And then afterward, in the press room, he talked about he's got records I don't have. I have so much respect for this man, and I'm grateful that I was able to find the opening and make it happen. And when I asked him afterwards, he goes, Tony, it was unbelievable. My warrior was ready. I was loving being there, just being there. My sovereign was in charge. My magician just found that opening, and boom, it was over in less than a minute. It lit up like a Christmas tree. All of those pieces are there. Later on, then on another fight, he got back to drinking a little bit and broke a leg and got angry again and went back to the old pattern. So we can make ourselves successful or unsuccessful just by, do we use all of ourselves or just part of ourselves?
So I don't want to go over here, but I'm still going to ask some of you all. So I know, again, there's moments where, the certain one of these alter egos are not kicked in, or they're kicked in too much, right? And we need to make sure that we self-evaluate. I tell people something that changed my life about 3 years ago was meditation. It's real, it works, and I meditate 3 times a day now. When you're in the field, like stepping aside and looking at these 4, I'd write these 4 down and say, where do I need to focus? Where am I missing the mark the last 4 hours, or even self-evaluating at night? So what I want to do real quick for the last couple of minutes here, I want, again, more participation. What is the one area that you feel that you need to switch today, right, to really be able to accomplish, really to accomplish your why and your true potential while you're here?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand what do you mean, which one do we have
Which one
to
of those
switch?
do you feel like you need to work on? Like, what is the one there you're like, I need to be a warrior today, I need to be a magician today, I need to be the lover? Like, what moment right now do you feel like you need to really step into that role?
I would say the magician for me. I've been having some trouble warming up with people and transitioning from small talk into the sales talk. So I think the magician could do that a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't bring that up. The magician going into approaches. Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I took away was the sovereignty. I'm a Christian, and I take sovereign in a different direction. The supreme leader, God is fully in control, and I am fully in control of my business, and I can't blame anybody else if I don't do what I'm supposed to do. So I need to become more sovereign and take a more hands-on approach to making things happen for myself, and being that supreme leader of my organization.
Love it. What else?
I'd say probably for me, the warrior. Just because, I mean, sometimes when we're training and we're building a team, we get tired and just keep on like pushing and pushing and pushing and going and going and going. And, when I'm field training, it is next business on the right. We don't skip over any business. We talk to everyone. And just making sure that, when I'm in the field on my own too, it's next business on the right, next business on the right. Don't skip over anyone.
Let's do 2 more, finish up.
Yeah, I think for me, I relate to Conor McGregor. I think it's the Irish in me. The warrior is too much a lot of times on my end, right? I got to pull that back and let the sovereign take a little more control, because I get real high, real low, and that roller coaster sometimes is a little out of control on my end. So, but I've been doing this long enough. I know that it all evens out. It's just understanding that in the moment and kind of pulling it together and not letting that anger and emotion drive me as much as my knowledge. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think also people don't. The warrior kind of kicks in a lot. I think, especially when they're new, because there's like, right, or even when we're here for what it's like. No, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing every business like like my trainer said. I'm doing the sales conversation word for word, and there's something missing there to really make that full connection. One more.
Yeah, I would say both things, warrior and magician. Just from a magician standpoint, just finding a way to be a little bit more relatable, with certain businesses and certain people that you speak to, just so you can earn that trust and you know, get their attention. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I'll share one thing. If you want to be relatable to businesses, anybody you're sitting in front of, become really good at claims and stories. Claims, names, and stories. You will allow you to do that. So, all right, well, that's all I got.
Thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. I know you got to hop on another call, but guys, like